Let's go ahead and move on to Ukraine. This is an important story, one of the most stunning displays that I've seen from the American press in a long time. That being said, the journalist who we're about to show you, Matt Lee, I actually was in the State Department press corps for a very short period of time. I got to see him in action. He is somebody deeply skeptical of all administrations, lived through a lot of lies, and it very much shows on his kind of weather-beaten face and in his language. But this exchange over a recent claim from the U.S. government is truly incredible. So we'll set it up a bit, which is that the U.S. government had come out over the weekend, on Friday, and they said, we have evidence that the Russians are planning a video which is going to be some false flag attack with crisis actors, which then is going to be a pretext for the invasion. That's all they said. And a lot of us said, okay, show us the evidence.
Right.
What's the evidence? And their claim is that simply uttering that claim that the Russians are doing this is evidence, that declassification of being able to say it is enough for all of us. And it was crystallized in this moment with Matt Lee pressing him and saying, show me the actual evidence. And watch this former CIA ghoul squirm under real questioning from the press, offering up nothing and showing us that, yeah, they don't have a whole lot to back up what they're saying. Let's take a listen.
Thanks. Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise, suggest meaning that they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of a... What action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they... I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you know...
Okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you can show that
Matt, you have been
that shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information, we do so in a means we do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have declassified.
It's not the format; it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry you are doubting the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
what I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order for a couple reasons. One is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this. but you won't tell us what the information
Well,
is. And then when you're asked...
that is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the
when
idea
you're
behind
asked,
deterrence.
And when
it is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this.
Is, you say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what...
You seem not to understand. You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God. What is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
that is the perfect way to handle that. You have to scorn them exactly to their faces and show them that what they're saying is outrageous. We have evidence. I just gave it to you. That's not evidence. That's you speaking. That doesn't mean anything.
Right. That's just you saying some stuff, okay?
We continue to find that Washington makes these outlandish, crazy claims, which leads them to have the hottest rhetoric in the ongoing dispute between Ukraine and Russia. And if you do want to broaden it out, you can say the Europeans and Russia. Put this up there on the screen. U.S. assessments continue to find Russia could seize Kiev in days, cause some 50,000 civilian casualties in Ukraine. I mean, what year is it? 1939? What's happening here, Krystal? Which is that the rhetoric used from Washington does not match the rhetoric or the actions that are being pursued on the continent. Right now, Macron is practicing shuttle diplomacy between Europe and Russia, trying to hammer out some diplomatic agreement. And the U.S., as Matt Lee says, is putting out some Alex Jones level insanity in terms of its claims about what exactly is going to happen. That's a crazy claim. If you have evidence, publish it. I'd love to see it. This would be like Adlai Stevenson at the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, like, we have evidence that the Russians put missiles in Cuba. And everybody's like, okay, where is it? At least we brought pictures that time.
Yeah.
I mean, this time they won't even give us that. What's happening here?
I think it also says a lot about what they expect from the press corps, that they think they could just assert something that is look.
Well, it did work actually, Krystal.
Yeah.
On CNN, they parroted it.
They go
completely.
right along with it. Yeah, that you could put on something that is quite a pretty wild claim. Look, I don't put anything past the right. I don't trust them either.
I mean, maybe,
but these are
like,
this is out there. I mean, as he says, it sounds like some Alex Jones, like crisis actors and all of this. And this is like plot number 3 that they've claimed the Russians are planning here and uncovered. Us and, the Brits are partnering with us to sort of distract from their own problems at home. But so, listen, I think it says everything that they think that the press will just take this, their assertion, backed by nothing, as complete fact. And the other thing that we've seen with this really consistently is the language around, if you are willing to dissent from their narrative, you are immediately tarred as traitor.
Right here. Propagandists, Russian propagandists, for doubting Washington.
All of that stuff. There was actually, this was kind of funny too. David Frum, don't normally check out his Twitter feed that often, but Ben & Jerry's put out this statement that just said, you cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. We call on President Biden to de-escalate tensions and work for peace rather than prepare for war. Sending thousands more U.S. troops to Europe in response to Russia's threats against Ukraine only fans the flame of war. Incredibly reasonable sentiment, very consistent with their historic, pro-peace orientation. And David Frum quote tweets that and says, congratulations to Tucker Carlson on his appointment as CEO of Ben & Jerry's. Like, just the language and the rhetoric around this is so ridiculous. You're not allowed to say, hey, here's what's going on from Russia's perspective. Here's why they're looking at it this way. Here's what some of their motivations are, which again, in the New York Times this morning, they're laying out what Macron is trying to do and is trying to assert the European position.
Good.
Because they have a lot more directly at stake in this in terms of their energy prices than we do. And one of the things that the New York Times says is that they're trying to figure out how to acknowledge that Russia has a little bit of a point when it comes to NATO expansion without backing off of, the promises that have already been made and the statements that have already been made by the West with regards to that NATO expansion. So this is not crazy stuff to talk about, but they've just gotten away with so long having reliable stenographers from the press that will just write down whatever they say is fact, no evidence needed, that they feel like they can do this and they can get away with it, and they largely can. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.